After a lifetime of earning it, Blanche Lincoln now has a Democratic primary challenger. As we discussed with Democratic Party Chairman Tim Kaine at the top of the hour, Blanche Lincoln's challenger is Arkansas Lieutenant Governor Bill Halter. Mr. Halter announced this morning that he would challenge Lincoln in the Democratic primary. He will be running as the progressive alternative to the senator, as evidenced by his record and by a totally unscientific, skin-deep analysis of these two Democrats' websites. They're like inverted red-blue versions of each other. Look at that. I know that's a superficial analysis, but come on. Wow. Senator Lincoln does have a $5 million war chest, but Lieutenant Governor Halter has a pickup truck. Seriously, it's already appeared in his materials, and liberal groups are already helping out with the money thing. As of about an hour ago, Act Blue had raised more than $100,000 for Mr. Halter, and MoveOn.org had raised about $430,000 for him. That's more than 80% of its stated fundraising goal for Lieutenant Governor Halter for the week. Lieutenant Governor Halter will be a guest on this show on Wednesday, and Senator Lincoln is welcome on this show anytime. We have asked about 1 million times. She's never been interested in being a guest on this program. Senator Lincoln, we would love to have you. Really. It's not a trap. Come on. Come on.
Pluto's really puny, right? Yes. But so is Mercury.
Well, Pluto's a lot punier.
A lot punier.
1/20th the mass of Mercury.
Mercury, that's...
Less than the mass of the moon.
Oh, touchdown right there. Okay.
That's from Neil deGrasse Tyson's new PBS Nova documentary, The Pluto Files. Dr. Tyson is the guy who killed Pluto. That is, it was Dr. Tyson and his team at the Hayden Planetarium in New York City who decided 10 years ago to not call Pluto a planet anymore and instead classify it as part of a distant asteroid belt. So instead of remembering the planets by memorizing, my very excellent mother just served us 9 pizzas, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, you instead have to memorize, my very excellent mother just served us nachos. No more pizza, no more Pluto. For being the first astrophysicist to reclassify Pluto, Dr. Tyson got hate mail from 3rd graders who wanted to know what he had done with the planet that they loved and who no one admits was the inspiration for the name of Mickey's dog. Turns out Americans are weirdly intensely in love with Pluto. It's sort of America's planet. It was the only planet discovered by an American. That was Clyde Tombaugh 80 years ago. Mr. Tombaugh made his own telescopes on the family farm. In the Pluto Files, Dr. Tyson goes to a barber shop in Mr. Tombaugh's hometown, Streator, Illinois, and he sees what the guy who discovered Pluto means to that town today. Check this out.
Oh, we're very proud of him.
Yeah.
Very proud of him, what he did.
And you learned about him in high school? Oh, no, elementary school.
3rd grade, maybe?
Because that's when most people first learn about the planets, right? And then, so his name comes up, and you learn he's a local guy.
Yeah, and Streator boy makes good, so to speak. And back in 3rd grade, I thought, wow, that's astounding from Streator.
So you feel pride.
Pluto.
You feel some pride.
Oh, you bet. Always did. Always had something to point to as far as, look here, that guy, he discovered Pluto. He's smart in that area.
Walt Disney named a dog after him.
There you go. That's true.
So how do you feel about Pluto, Dr. Tyson?
Joining us now is the man who dared to move Pluto and then get a straight razor shave in Streator, Illinois, Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
All right. I want to start with the basics. What's a planet? Is there an agreed-upon definition for what a planet is?
At this moment, there's a voted-upon definition that doesn't have full agreement by the entire community, but a planet is big enough to be round and strong enough, if you will, to have almost completely cleared its orbit of other debris that could change its mass over time. So in other words, the big 8, well, there's the big 4, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, and then there's like a littler 4, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, and then there was Pluto, which was puny compared with these 8.
Right.
Puny, all right? So Pluto is mixed with a whole group of other icy bodies in the outer solar system, the Kuiper Belt of comets.
Comets, not asteroids.
Right.
Okay.
Kuiper Belt of icy bodies.
Okay.
It hasn't cleared that orbit. There's much more mass of other stuff out there than Pluto itself. In all the other 8, they've basically cleared their orbits. So definition of planet, have you cleared your orbit? If it's a yes, you put a check there. Are you big enough to be round? You got 8 planets.
Big enough to be round.
Yeah, if you're little, then if you're rocky, the rocks define what shape you are. So you could be craggy, you could look like an Idaho potato, but above a certain size, it's a beautiful fact of physics that above a certain size, the gravity forces your physical dimensions to take the shape of a sphere.
Also true with people. I'm sorry. All right, but the one.
Do you go around asking people if they're planets or not?
No, I don't at all. But the thing about Pluto that is fascinating is that people do get upset about it.
Americans primarily, yeah, they get intensely emotional.
But I didn't know before watching your documentary that Pluto was discovered by an American, and so that doesn't explain why I had this emotional feeling
Exactly.
about it.
So about, in my sort of casual statistics, about 10% of Americans who felt strongly about Pluto knew that an American had discovered it. So the source had to be some other force acting on these emotions.
Do you know what it is?
Well, not initially. I mean, I scratched my head, and I looked around, I sniffed around, and I said, wait a minute. There's this dog we all know, Mickey's dog, that has the same tenure in the hearts and minds of Americans. Why? Because it was first sketched the same year, coincidentally, that Pluto, the cosmic object, was discovered.
Wow.
80 years they've been in the hearts and minds of Americans. And when do you first learn about the planets? First, second, third grade. When are you watching cartoons? First, second, third grade. There it is. And I think that link stays with us, even if only subliminally throughout our entire lives.
I also think that Pluto's an underdog. Not related to the dog, not the dog part of that, but I think we think like, oh, it's the puny guy. Like Americans, we like the underdog.
Exactly, and so that's okay too. You know, if there's someone who's not favored to win a contest and then they win, you cheer them even harder and you're rooting for them. Pluto was certainly the underdog, the puniest of the planets, but now in its new zone, it's one of the largest of the icy bodies. I think of it as the king of the comets. I think it's happier there, actually.
Nice.
It's totally happier
there. That was
the
exact same construction used to make the nerd guy cool in 16 Candles. He got to be the king of the nerds instead of the lowest. Anyway, when you met with the family of the man who discovered Pluto, were they mad at you? I
was worried about them. This is the whole family. Clyde Tombaugh's widow, who's like 97 or 8 years, almost 100, and his sons and nieces and nephews, they all gathered on his home in New Mexico to greet me as I came. And I was kind of worried because as a New Yorker, I'm ready for hey, what did you do with our plan? I was ready for some like confrontational encounters. Right. But they were so nice. They were so nice. Again, as a New Yorker, I was like, this is suspiciously nice. They got something cooking in the back. No, but they were genuinely nice. And I think they appreciated that there was this attention given to Clyde Tombaugh. Even forget Pluto. The fact is, I came to learn of him, to learn about him as an American hero. He was a farm boy from Streator, Illinois. You see some guys in the barber shop. Main Street has a mural of him down Main Street. There's a stained glass window in a church in New Mexico that has his life on it. And he came out of a farm, and he was looking up while everyone said, you know, till the soils. He built his own telescopes. Yeah. He had a relationship with the universe that ended up becoming realized as a professional astronomer. That's an American story, and not enough people know it. And that makes, I bet, them feel a lot better. And I didn't do it like just to make them nice with me. I mean, they were actually genuinely nice people. That's right. Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and thank you for making this cool documentary about a cool thing. I'm happy to. Yeah, thanks for thinking about it. Thanks, Steve. Look forward. Thank you. Neil deGrasse Tyson is the director of the Hayden Planetarium. He's an astrophysicist. I want you to know that the Pluto Files was inspired by Dr. Tyson's book of the same title. It's going to air tomorrow on PBS at 8 o'clock Eastern. You are the earmark queen. Spend and spend, wasting our money. Tomorrow is the Texas Republican primary for the governor's race there. And apparently, nothing sways conservative Texas Republican primary voters like parodies of ABBA's Dancing Queen. That was an attack ad run by Rick Perry against Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison. Senator Hutchison might be doing better in the polls right now had she pulled the trigger on her devastating response ad, which, of course, is set to the tune of Gimme, 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 a Man After Midnight. That does it for us tonight. We will see you again tomorrow night. Until then, you can email us, Rachel@msnbc.com.